And welcome back to the channel. So something a little different for you today with the recently released news that Michael Steele, one of the two men who were convicted of the triple Range Rover murders of Patrick Tate, Tony Tucker and Craig Rolfe back in December 1995, could be released from prison before Christmas. Take a listen to the following. Essex boys convicted triple killer Michael Steele could be released before Christmas, it has emerged. Steele, 81, was given life with a minimum term of 15 years for the notorious gangland murders in 1998 with Jack Whomes, 62. The minimum term expired in 2013, but he has failed to get a release or move to open prison conditions ever since and remains a Category A prisoner despite his age. His current parole hearing began in May 2023, but has been dogged by a number of delays. The spokesman said, "An oral hearing has been listed for the parole review of Michael Steele and is scheduled to take place in November 2024. I can now confirm the date is November 12th. He would not comment on the delays, but added, quote, "Adjournments are often because the panel requires further information to complete its risk assessment." Whomes and Steele were convicted of the murders of drug dealers Pat Tate, 37, Tony Tucker, 38, and Craig Rolfe, 26, in December 1995. The three were shot dead in a Range Rover on an isolated snowy track in Rettendon near Basildon. Both Whomes, released in 2021, and Steele have always insisted they are innocent, but a series of appeals and applications to the Criminal Case Review Commission have failed. Dean Kingham, Steele's solicitor of Reese Thompson Watson, said, quote, "Mr. Steele is 81, soon to be 82. It is assessed he is not a risk unless he reverts to a criminal lifestyle. He meets the board's statutory release test in that it is no longer necessary for the protection of the public that he remains confined. The Ministry of Justice is seeking to justify him remaining in closed conditions to access personality work for personality traits, which we are arguing has no relevance to his current or future risk." A parole spokesman said, "Parole board decisions are solely focused on what risk a prisoner could represent to the public if released, and whether that risk is manageable in the community. A panel will carefully examine a huge range of evidence, including details of the original crime and any evidence of behaviour change, as well as explore the harm done and impact the crime has had on the victims. Members read and digest hundreds of pages of evidence and reports in the lead-up to an oral hearing. Evidence from witnesses, including probation officers, psychiatrists and psychologists, officials supervising the offender in prison, as well as victim personal statements, are then given at the hearing. The prisoner and witnesses are then questioned at length during the hearing, which often lasts a full day or more. Parole reviews are undertaken thoroughly and with extreme care. Protecting the public is our number one priority." Okay, so an interesting development concerning the potential upcoming release of Michael Steele. Now, as many people will know, his co-accused Jack Whomes, he was actually released back in 2021. However, the paths taken by these two individuals when they were incarcerated was actually quite different. You had Jack Whomes, who I guess worked his way through the prison system from a Category A down to an open prison, and finally his release. However, Michael Steele has remained a Category A prisoner ever since he was incarcerated. Now, clearly, both of these individuals still maintain their innocence. That hasn't changed. Neither has admitted to any involvement in this actual crime. And as I say, it's quite interesting that Jack Whomes was released a few years ago now, back in 2021, mainly for the fact that he sort of worked his way through the prison system. He learned to read and write in prison. He was teaching other prisoners. I guess he was the role model prisoner to some extent to be able to get moved from a high security Category A prisoner down to a B, down to a C, down to open prison, and eventually his release. However, as I say, Michael Steele still remains as a high security Category A prisoner. But it does beg the question, doesn't it? At 81 years of age, soon to be 82, is it not just a case of let this individual out? He's done his time. He's been in prison since 1998. He's still there now as a Category A prisoner. Should this individual be released into the public? Does he actually pose any threat whatsoever to the public at large? Let me know some of your thoughts down in the comments section below.